Welcome to Ancient Spiritual Knowledge. I'm your host, Paige Carter. As the golden sun sets over the sprawling desert, casting long shadows over the mighty pyramids, we are drawn into the sacred enigma of ancient Egypt. The whispers of the ancients echo through the corridors of time, bearing tales of immortality, of higher beings, of mysteries concealed beneath layers of sand and centuries of silence. In the heart of this ancient civilization, belief in the afterlife was not merely a concept, but a cornerstone of their existence. In the intricate hieroglyphs that adorn the inner sanctum of their tombs, in the meticulously preserved bodies of their pharaohs, we find clues to an intricate belief system that saw death not as an end, but as a gateway to a higher form of existence. The ancient Egyptians envisioned immortality as a continuum of the physical life, an eternal journey where the soul, or Ba, would return to its body each night to receive new life. This profound belief spurred the development of complex mummification rituals aimed at preserving the body for the soul's nightly visitations. Each organ, each limb, meticulously treated with natron and resins, wrapped in linen, and housed within a sarcophagus. This was not a mere funeral rite, but a solemn preparation for eternal life. The pathway to immortality was not merely physical, but deeply spiritual. Sacred texts, like the Book of the Dead and the Pyramid texts, served as guides to the other world, filled with spells and instructions to aid the soul on its perilous journey through the afterlife. The soul was envisioned as a voyager, navigating treacherous realms filled with monstrous serpents, judgmental deities, and bewildering tests. Triumphing over these trials was seen as the key to achieving an exalted state of being, akin to the gods themselves. But what of these gods, these higher beings? They were not distant deities, but an intrinsic part of everyday life, their divine influence woven into the very fabric of ancient Egyptian society. Gods like Osiris, Isis, Anubis, and Thoth were believed to possess knowledge of the sacred mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos. The pharaohs, seen as living gods, were thought to act as intercessors, bridging the gap between the divine and the mortal, their mighty pyramids serving as celestial conduits to the heavens. Between the shifting sands and the timeless monuments, the ancient Egyptians left behind keys to unearthing these profound mysteries. We are but explorers, piecing together fragments of a forgotten wisdom, straining to hear the echoes of a civilization that dared to gaze beyond the veil of mortality, into the realm of the gods. The path to immortality, to higher being, lies shrouded in the enigma of ancient Egypt. In unraveling the origins of these spiritual traditions and concepts, we journey back to a time when the Nile River was the lifeblood of a civilization that would shape the course of human history. The ancient Egyptians, with their profound wisdom and complex spiritual system, were among the earliest cultures to document their beliefs about immortality and higher being. Their sacred texts, dating back to the Old Kingdom period around 2686 to 2181 BC, remain some of the earliest recorded explorations of these concepts. The pyramid texts, inscribed within the tomb of Pharaoh Unas, are a seminal source of these profound ideas. These texts, filled with spells and rituals, were carefully designed to protect the pharaoh in the afterlife and guide his soul towards immortality. They paint a vivid picture of the ancient Egyptians' spiritual landscape, a complex web of gods, goddesses, and celestial beings, each possessing unique roles and attributes that held the keys to the mysteries of life and death. Parallel to these spiritual beliefs, the Egyptian civilization was deeply hierarchical, with the pharaoh at the apex, seen as a divine entity and a bridge between the gods and humans. This belief system was not merely symbolic. It was deeply woven into the fabric of society, influencing everything from politics to agriculture. The pharaoh's divine status was not only a means of consolidating power, but also a testament to the Egyptians' belief in the possibility of becoming a higher being. The priests and priestesses of ancient Egypt played an integral role in preserving and disseminating these mystical teachings. Their sacred duties extended beyond the boundaries of the temple. They were the custodians of knowledge, the keepers of secrets that held the keys to understanding the cosmos. They were the conduits of divine wisdom, transmitting the teachings of the gods to the people and guiding the pharaoh on his journey to immortality. Equally important were the ancient Egyptian scribes, who meticulously recorded religious texts, spells, and rituals. They were the silent witnesses to the divine mysteries, their pens serving as a bridge between the mortal world and the realm of the gods. They captured the essence of these traditions in their writings, creating a lasting testament to a civilization that dared to reach for the stars. Unearthing these historical roots allows us to better understand the spiritual fabric of ancient Egypt, a civilization that viewed immortality and higher being as not just possibilities, but integral parts of the human journey. These ancient beliefs, carefully preserved in stone, papyrus, and the very sands of Egypt, hold the keys to unlocking the mysteries of a civilization that dared to gaze beyond the veil of mortality into the realm of the divine. At the center of these ancient teachings was the concept of Ma'at, an intricate principle encompassing truth, balance, order, law, morality, and justice. Envisioned as a goddess, Ma'at was the cosmic force that maintained the universe's equilibrium and the societal glue that held the fabric of Egyptian civilization together. She was the guiding principle for the pharaohs, who were expected to uphold Ma'at in their rule, embodying it in their actions and decisions. In the spiritual realm, Ma'at was instrumental in the journey of the soul after death. The heart of the deceased was weighed against the feather of Ma'at in a divine judgment that determined the soul's fate in the afterlife. Maintaining Ma'at in life was thus a crucial step in achieving immortality, highlighting the Egyptians' belief in the interconnectedness of earthly morality and divine transcendence. Another fundamental principle was that of Ka and Ba, concepts central to the understanding of the self and the soul in ancient Egypt. The Ka was often likened to the life force or spirit, an aspect of the individual that remained connected to the earthly body even after death. Meanwhile, the Ba represented the soul, free to journey through the afterlife. The reunification of the Ka and Ba was a critical step in achieving immortality, a journey that was meticulously detailed in the Book of the Dead, a guidebook for the afterlife filled with spells, instructions, and wisdom to aid the deceased on their journey. The ancient Egyptians also held a deep reverence for the symbolism of the ankh, an iconic hieroglyphic symbol that signified life, immortality, and the divine. The ankh was often depicted in the hands of the gods, bestowing life upon the pharaohs, symbolizing their divine status and the promise of eternal life. The sacred wisdom of ancient Egypt was not confined to the realm of the gods and pharaohs. It was deeply embedded in the everyday life of the Egyptian people. From the layout of their homes to the design of their jewelry, every aspect of their lives was infused with symbolism and meaning, a testament to their belief in the interplay of the earthly and the divine, the mortal and the immortal. These teachings and philosophies reveal a civilization that saw the divine not as distant and unreachable, but interwoven with human existence. The ancient Egyptians believed in the potential for humans to reach higher states of being, to transcend mortality, and join the divine. This belief shaped their culture, their society, and their understanding of the universe. It permeated every aspect of their lives, creating a civilization that was as spiritually rich as it was architecturally grand, a civilization that continues to fascinate and mystify us to this day. To fully grasp the profundity of ancient Egyptian wisdom, one must delve into the rituals, practices, and initiations that formed the backbone of their spiritual journey towards immortality and higher being. Central to these practices was the concept of the Heka, or divine magic, which was believed to be a force that the gods used to create and maintain the universe. The Egyptians believed that humans, too, could access and harness this divine power through rituals, chants, and meditation. One such ritual was the opening of the mouth ceremony, a crucial part of the mummification process. This ritual, performed by priests, was believed to restore the sensory faculties of the deceased, enabling them to eat, drink, and speak in the afterlife. Instruments were used to symbolically open the mouth and eyes of the mummy, awakening their senses and empowering them with the abilities they would need to navigate the afterlife. The performance of this ritual was seen as essential to ensure the successful reunion of the Ka and Ba, marking a significant step towards achieving immortality. In addition to these intricate rituals, the Egyptians also used meditation and chanting as means to connect with the divine. Temples and sacred spaces were often filled with the resonating sound of chants, believed to raise vibrational energy and facilitate communication with the divine. These chants were not mere utterances. They were composed of sacred words and phrases, carrying powerful vibrational frequencies that could alter the state of consciousness. The use of sacred symbols and talismans was another pillar of ancient Egyptian spiritual practice. For instance, the ankh, Eye of Horus, and Jed pillar were considered powerful protective amulets. These symbols were often worn or incorporated into daily life, seen as conduits of divine energy, offering protection and guidance. Initiation ceremonies were also a significant part of the ancient Egyptian spiritual path. These ceremonies, often held within the sacred confines of the temples, were designed to impart spiritual wisdom and open the initiate's consciousness to higher realms of existence. The initiates underwent various trials and tests, symbolic of their journey from mortality to divinity. These initiations were transformative experiences, reshaping the initiate's perception of reality and self, aligning them with the divine principles that govern the universe. The transformative purpose behind each act was to facilitate the individual's journey towards immortality and higher being. Every ritual, every chant, every initiation was a step on the path towards achieving this sublime state. These practices were not merely symbolic acts. They were profound spiritual exercises designed to awaken the divine within the individual, to attune their spirit to the eternal truths of the universe, and to guide them on their journey towards immortality. The ancient Egyptians' understanding of the universe was deeply symbolic and encrusted with layers of esoteric meaning. The sacred texts, architecture, and mythology serve as repositories of this hidden knowledge, each element concealing deeper truths that were decipherable only by the initiated. The hieroglyphs, for example, were not just an ancient form of writing. They were mystical symbols carrying profound esoteric messages, each character a key to unlock the mysteries of existence. Hieroglyphs were believed to be gifted by Thoth, the god of wisdom, and thus they were considered sacred symbols of divine knowledge. The architecture of ancient Egypt, specifically the pyramids, is another remarkable embodiment of this esoteric wisdom. The Great Pyramid of Giza, in particular, stands as a testament to the advanced understanding of geometry, astronomy, and Earth's magnetic fields. The precise alignment of the pyramids with the stars and the fact that they resonate with the Earth's natural frequency suggests a profound understanding of cosmic principles. The pyramid was not merely a tomb for the pharaohs. It was a gateway to the divine, a conduit that facilitated the soul's journey to the stars. The mythology, too, is a treasure trove of esoteric wisdom. The pantheon of gods, their attributes, and their stories were not just mythological constructs or religious dogma. Instead, they were metaphysical representations of the cosmos and the human psyche. Each god represented a different aspect of the universe or human experience, and their stories were allegorical narratives that encoded deep spiritual truths. For instance, the story of Osiris's death and resurrection can be seen as a symbolic narrative of the soul's journey through death and rebirth, a cycle of transformation and renewal that is central to the belief in immortality. The Sphinx, that enigmatic creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human, is another powerful symbol in Egyptian mythology. Its mysterious gaze seems to guard secrets of an age long forgotten, its form a representation of the unity of instincts and intellect, the animal and the divine, the physical and the spiritual. It serves as a reminder that the path to immortality demands the integration of all aspects of being, the harmonious fusion of the lower and higher selves. In the depth of these symbols and narratives, the ancient Egyptians encoded their understanding of the universe, the nature of the soul, and the path to immortality. These were not mere tales or artifacts. They were maps and guides, tools to navigate the spiritual journey towards higher being. The initiated, those who had the eyes to see and the ears to hear, could decipher these codes, unearthing the hidden wisdom and illuminating their path towards the divine. These were the ones who could truly engage with the mysteries of ancient Egypt, their spirits attuned to the esoteric wisdom hidden in plain sight. In their quest for enlightenment and communion with the divine, these seekers often experienced mystical states of consciousness, altered states of being that transcended the ordinary perception of reality. These were profound, transformative experiences that were both deeply personal and universally resonant, offering glimpses into the divine order of the cosmos and the ultimate nature of the self. The ancient Egyptian spiritual practice was deeply intertwined with such mystical experiences. They were not seen as aberrations or anomalies, but as integral parts of the spiritual journey. It was in these altered states of consciousness that the seekers could perceive the divine, transcending the limitations of their physical senses and attaining a direct experiential understanding of the universe and their place within it. The methods used to induce these mystical states varied. Some seekers used meditation, focusing their consciousness inward and entering a state of deep contemplation. Others employed the use of sacred herbs and substances, which were believed to open the doors of perception and facilitate divine communion. Yet others used rituals and ceremonies, harnessing the power of symbols, chants, and sacred dances to alter their states of consciousness and connect with the divine. These practices were not undertaken lightly. They were sacred rites, performed with reverence and respect, guided by the teachings of the ancient wisdom. The seekers were not merely seeking a fleeting, ephemeral experience, but a deep and lasting transformation, a fundamental shift in their understanding and perception of the universe. The ultimate aim of these mystical experiences was not merely to perceive the divine, but to become one with it. This was the state of enlightenment, the dissolution of the self into the cosmic consciousness, the realization of the self as a part of the divine whole. This was the ultimate goal of the ancient Egyptian spiritual practice, the key to immortality and higher being. Yet this path was not without its challenges. The seekers had to confront their inner demons, their fears and illusions, their attachments and desires. They had to purify their hearts and minds, aligning their will with the divine will, surrendering their ego to the cosmic consciousness. Only then could they truly attain the state of enlightenment, the unity with the divine. In the silence of the desert, under the watchful gaze of the Sphinx and the towering pyramids, the seekers journeyed within, exploring the depths of their soul, seeking the divine within and without. Their experiences, their insights, their transformations added to the rich tapestry of the ancient Egyptian spiritual tradition, illuminating the path for future seekers, echoing through the corridors of time. In their quest for immortality and higher being, they unlocked the mysteries of ancient Egypt, reaching out to touch the divine, forever transformed by the encounter. The mysteries of ancient Egypt and its practices of attaining immortality were not destined to remain within the confines of the Nile Valley. As time ebbed, civilizations rose and fell, and the sands of the desert shifted, the secret knowledge began to fade into obscurity, the temples crumbled, and the sacred texts were lost or destroyed. The initiates of the ancient mysteries, the holders of the sacred knowledge, dwindled in numbers. The flame of ancient wisdom, once a roaring inferno, was reduced to mere embers, hidden from sight and mind, waiting for the right moment to ignite once more. The knowledge of immortality, the keys to higher being, were deemed too powerful, too dangerous for the uninitiated. They were suppressed by those who feared their power, hidden by those who wished to monopolize it, and forgotten by those who failed to understand it. What was once the birthright of every seeker of truth became the forbidden fruit, available only to a select few, hidden away in the shadows, shrouded in secrecy and mystery. Yet this knowledge could not be completely extinguished. Like a river flowing underground, it found its way into hidden traditions, secret societies, and esoteric philosophies. It was preserved in coded texts, symbolic images, and cryptic teachings, waiting for those with the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Throughout the centuries, there were those who stumbled upon these hidden teachings, who deciphered the codes and unlocked the secrets. Mystics and scholars, seekers and sages, they saw beyond the veil of the mundane and glimpsed the mysteries of ancient Egypt. They rediscovered the forgotten practices, the lost rituals, the hidden wisdom. They rekindled the flame of ancient knowledge and brought it into the light once more. These were not merely academic pursuits. These were experiential journeys, spiritual quests, driven by the same yearning for truth, the same quest for immortality that drove the ancient Egyptians. Drawing on the wisdom of the ancients, they sought to experience the divine, to become one with the cosmic consciousness, to attain the state of enlightenment. The knowledge of ancient Egypt, once hidden and suppressed, now began to surface in the consciousness of the world. It sparked a revival of interest in the ancient mysteries, a resurgence of the esoteric traditions, a renaissance of the spiritual quest. It began to inspire and illuminate, to guide and transform, just as it had done in the ancient times. The flame of ancient wisdom, once threatened with extinction, now burns brightly once more, illuminating the path for those who seek the keys to immortality and higher being. The mysteries of ancient Egypt, once lost in the sands of time, now beckon to us from the depths of the ages, inviting us to explore, to seek, to discover. And in this quest, we may find ourselves transformed just as the seekers of old, forever touched by the encounter with the divine. In the modern world, the teachings of ancient Egypt are more relevant than ever. The pressures of our technologically driven society can often disconnect us from our spiritual roots, causing imbalance and unrest. But the wisdom of the ancients, rooted in the understanding of the cosmos and the self, can guide us back to harmony and wholeness. Consider for a moment the practice of meditation. The ancient Egyptians were known to engage in meditative practices, seeking silence and solitude to attune themselves with the divine. They believed that in the quiet spaces of the mind, one could encounter the higher self, the divine spark within. Today, neuroscientists confirm what the ancients intuited. Meditation can alter brain activity, promoting calmness, focus, and emotional balance. It is a tool for self-transformation, a key to unlocking higher states of consciousness. The ancient Egyptians also understood the power of healing, on both a physical and spiritual level. They believed that illness was a manifestation of spiritual imbalance, that the body and soul were interconnected. And so, they developed a system of holistic healing, using herbs, incantations, and energy work to restore balance. Today, we see a resurgence of these holistic approaches, a growing recognition of the mind-body connection, and the healing power of natural remedies and energy-based therapies. The wisdom of the ancients also informs our understanding of balance. The ancient Egyptians saw the world as a delicate equilibrium of opposing forces, light and darkness, chaos and order, life and death. They sought to align themselves with this cosmic balance, to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature and the cycles of the universe. Today, We see the impact of imbalances in our world, ecological crises born of our disconnection from natural systems. In response, many are seeking a more sustainable, balanced way of living, aligning with the rhythms of the earth, just as the ancients did. The knowledge of ancient Egypt, once hidden and suppressed, now emerges as a beacon for the modern seeker. It points to a harmonious way of living, a path to self-realization and higher consciousness. It offers keys to immortality, not in the literal sense of physical longevity, but in the spiritual sense of transcending the limitations of the ego, of merging with the divine consciousness. It teaches us that immortality is not a destination, but a state of being, a profound understanding of our place in the cosmos, a recognition of the eternal within us, and in this recognition we may find the balance, the healing, the transformation that we seek. This is the gift of the ancients, a wisdom timeless and profound, speaking to us across the ages, guiding us on our journey towards immortality and higher being. This ancient wisdom, once shrouded in mystery, seems to resonate with modern understandings of quantum physics and consciousness. The ancients' concept of a divine force pervading all of existence parallels the quantum field theory, which proposes that there is a fundamental field that exists everywhere in the universe. This field is not empty, but brimming with energy, the ground state from which all particles and forces emerge. It is a field of potentiality, out of which all matter and energy manifest, much like the divine force the ancients conceived of as the source of all creation. The ancients' understanding of balance and equilibrium mirrors the principle of symmetry in physics, the idea that the laws of nature remain invariant under transformations. This suggests a deep harmony in the universe, a balance that is inherent in the very fabric of reality, echoing the ancients' cosmology. Furthermore, the ancient Egyptians' concept of a soul, an immortal essence that transcends the physical body, aligns with quantum theories of consciousness. Some quantum physicists propose that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe, not just a byproduct of our brains. They suggest that our consciousness could be linked to the quantum field, a non-local entity that exists beyond space and time. This radical view revolutionizes our perception of self, suggesting that our consciousness, our very essence, is not confined to our physical bodies, but is part of the fabric of the universe. The ancients' practices of energy healing and meditation also find resonance in the emerging field of bioenergetics, which studies how energy flows within living systems. Modern research has revealed that our bodies are not just biochemical systems, but complex networks of energy. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and energy healing can positively influence our bioenergetic systems, promoting health and well-being. From the balance of the universe to the nature of consciousness, from the healing power of energy to the interconnectedness of all beings, the wisdom of the ancients seems to anticipate modern scientific discoveries. It is a wisdom that bridges science and spirit, matter and consciousness, the seen and the unseen. It is a wisdom that invites us to see the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a web of relationships, a dance of energies, a field of possibilities. It is a wisdom that calls us to awaken to our true nature, to realize our place in the cosmos, to recognize the divine within us. It is a wisdom that holds the keys to immortality and higher being, keys that are within our reach, waiting to be discovered. In the interplay of light and shadow, in the silent whisper of the desert wind, in the grandeur of the pyramids and the enigmatic gaze of the Sphinx, lies the legacy of ancient Egypt. It is a legacy that speaks to us across the chasm of time, whispering secrets of immortality and higher being, inviting us to embark on the eternal journey of the soul. The wisdom of the ancients, etched in stone and hidden in the recesses of their tombs, is a mirror that reflects our own divine nature. The concept of Ka, the immortal life force, reminds us of our own interconnectedness with the quantum field, a sea of energy that exists beyond space and time. The belief in the Ba, our unique essence that journeys through eternity, resonates with the idea of consciousness as an enduring entity, a thread that weaves through the fabric of the cosmos. In the rituals of mummification, in the sacred geometry of their monuments, in the intricate symbolism of their art, the ancients encoded a profound understanding of the universe. They realized that the cosmos is not a machine, but a living, breathing organism, a harmonious orchestration of energies. Their practices of meditation and energy healing echo this understanding, acknowledging the subtle energies that animate our bodies and the potential that lies within us to influence these energies. The ancient Egyptians revered the divine, seeing it not as a remote entity, but as an ever-present reality, permeating every atom of existence. They sought to awaken this divine spark within themselves, to realize their own godhood. This is the essence of their teachings, the key to immortality and higher being, the realization that we are not merely physical beings, bound by time and space, but eternal souls on a cosmic journey. The wisdom of the ancients is not a relic of the past, but a beacon that shines through the mists of time, illuminating our path. It invites us to transcend our perceived limitations, to delve into the depths of our being, to explore the uncharted territories of our consciousness. It calls us to remember our divine heritage, to awaken to our true potential, to reclaim our place in the cosmos. In the stillness of the night, under the watchful gaze of the stars, we hear the whispers of the ancients, echoing through the corridors of time. They remind us of the divine spark within us, of the eternal journey of the soul, of the keys to immortality and higher being that lie within our reach. And in this reminder, we find not just a legacy, but a promise of a future where we embrace our divine nature, where we journey towards higher being, where we unlock the mysteries of existence and realize our place in the cosmos. A future where we, like the ancients, become the architects of our own immortality. Thanks for listening. This has been Ancient Spiritual Knowledge. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.